Good morning. It is September 10th, 2024. I'm up at Tuscarora Lodge, and this is Round Lake, and I'm going to do a loop. I'm going to go in here, out in Portage to Missing Link, and then Portage to Snipe Lake for the first night. Going to do a quick 3-night solo again. Let's see. I'm at the lodge. It's roughly about 8 o'clock in the morning. Beautiful day. The weather, it looks like it's going to be fantastic. So what I got to do now is I'm going in here and I'm coming out across Bay. So this is entry point 51 and I'm coming out entry point 50. So I'm going to have to drive my car down to the exit, entry point 50, and walk back. And then the adventure begins. All right, I'm psyched. All right, this is Crossed Bay entry point 50. This is where I'll be coming out. So you take a look at it. I'm going to go in here, go down here, lake called Missing Link, go to Snipe, spend the night hopefully on Snipe, go to Cross Bay, spend the night in Cross Bay, and come out here. All the way up here. All the way up here. So now I got about a mile walk back to the Round Lake, and then the adventure begins. Wow, the facilities here at Tuscarora Outfitters and Lodge, the bunkhouses are beautiful, but it's surrounded by all this old growth pines. Those will look like big old white pines, but it's really nice. I tried to stay here, but everything was full. I can see why. It's absolutely beautiful. So what time is it? Let me take. It is 8:45. Not a breath of air. The group getting ready to go out. Yeah, I'm really impressed. All right, first leg of the first portage done. It's about 9:15, 9:20. Typical portage up here. It's got some rocks, got some boulders, got some interesting footing. I'll shoot a little bit on the way back. You enter the boundary water about halfway through this portage. So let's go get the boat. Portaging. Yeah. Halfway through the portage, you're in the boundary waters. There's some beautiful rock formations on this portage. But it's very typical. It's man, it's got a little climb out of Round Lake for about, well, at least half of the portage. Nothing severe, just take your time. Let's go. Bill just paddled across Missing Link. And this is going to be the longest portage of this whole trip. I think it's 180 rods. There's supposed to be a huge drop off in the middle of it called, the walls. I think the Forest Service came and cut a path around it. But let's go find out. Yeah. But beautiful weather. I'm actually thinking I'm going to have to take a layer off here. Just go in a t-shirt. Let's find out. Well, here's Snipe Lake. The portage here is long, but overall it's not bad. And I kind of chose the route I'm on because it's all uphill all the way to Missing Link Lake. And there's one last hill right here. This doesn't do it justice, but I'm calling this Heart Attack Hill. So now I got to bring the boat down that. Let's go get it. Oh, this is called the wall. Imagine this. Okay, it's about chest high to me. It's probably 5-foot drop. Then on this side, you got to scurry up that, but that's not that bad. But I'd like to thank whoever did this. I'm assuming the Forest Service did. So they made a little end around. So it's much easier. Much easier. All right, almost to the boat. It's actually quite a nice stroll in the woods. It's just all uphill from Snipe to Missing Link. Alrighty then. What a day. The wind is finally starting to die down. I went to 3 different campsites on this lake, which is Snipe Lake. Actually, beautiful lake. Beautiful lake. Go out for a little tour tomorrow. And I decided on the island campsite. So I got everything pretty much in order. Oh, pretty much in order. Water's filtered. Wood is cut and split. Small fire tonight. But it's still, it's up in the 70s. It's almost 5 o'clock. Let me look at, let me see. 73 degrees, according to the thermometer. And absolutely no bugs, which is really, really nice compared to my June trip and my July trip. But no rain in the forecast, so I'm not going to put up a tarp. I got the Una set up back here. So I'm going to make a little dinner. Man, I don't know why. That thing was just fought me today to get it to balance right and have the right hang. But we got her done. Campsite is clean. The island's clean. Did a little exploring back in the woods. Not as nice as the island I was on at Parent Lake. But it's nice. All right, on to dinner. I'm hungry. Well, the wind has died down nicely. It was quite breezy today, and yet there's absolutely no bugs. Again, it's the 10th of September, 2024. I'm just having my dinner, mushroom and chicken Alfredo, a little piece of naan bread. Yum. You know, I got asked, why do you eat so much, chicken and mushroom Alfredo? Well, the interesting thing is the mushrooms that come with camp chow food are really big and chunky. But the trick is you got to really cook them hard and just let them sit and hydrate in the hot water for at least 15-20 minutes. Oh, a funny story. Made the first portage, about 140 rods, no, maybe 130 between Round Lake and Missing Link. And then went and did the other portage between Missing Link and Snipe, which is all downhill. And gosh, made the first pass, dropped off the pack, went and got the canoe. There's some pretty precarious spots on it, but we made it through. Anyway, I back to the lake on Snipe, dropped the canoe and looked, and my map was gone. My map. It's not just a map. It's got my fishing license. It has the permit. So, in a panic, I basically walked almost the whole portage again. Oh, it's been an interesting day. Hey, end of day 1. I'm fed. I'm really happily fed. Got the light on up at the tent. Then just winding down. 2 long portages, one having to backtrack and find my missing map case, but we did. But overall, great day. Great day. Really excited tomorrow to take a closer look at this lake. And no bugs. No bugs. All right. More to come. Good morning. Just after 7. Man, I got almost 9-10 hours of sleep in. But not a breath of air. A lot of chipmunks, a lot of squirrels, I heard last night. Fitful sleep. So make a little coffee and I might wet a fishing line. And then off in the boat. Not a breath of air. Shortly after 8, firewood's done. Had my constitution. Legs feel really, really good after the workout yesterday. Boy, if you come to snipe, the best way to come, in my book, is to go in through Round Lake into Missing Link, and then the arduous portage down here from Missing Link, because it's all downhill and it's pretty rugged. But I suppose if you're a grunt, it's doable. But I'm going out Cross Bay entry point. All right, let's go make some eggs. Gosh, that's beautiful. Best breakfast in the Boundary Waters with an awesome view. All right, we got camp pretty well cleaned up. It's about 9:30. Had a fabulous breakfast. Just relaxed this morning. Had some coffee. Now let's get in the boat and explore. Got my pack hung. Got my little day packs. Got a lunch, jacket, rain gear, first aid. So let's go take a look at Snipe Lake, shall we? Yeah, we shall. Well, here's the campsite closest to the portage, the far east campsite on Snipe Lake. And it's got a pretty precarious fire grate. Huh. That doesn't look very comfortable at all. It's got a great landing. Some deadfall, typical. Nice glacier erratics. Get no morning sun. You get only sunsets. The site that I have is I get both sunrises and sunsets, which I really truly enjoy. I feel like I get the best of both worlds. But this isn't a bad site. Just the fire grate is really kind of weird. Again, the campsite on the far east portion of Snipe Lake, which the paddle over here was just amazingly beautiful. I'll film it on the way back. Wow. Yeah, weird fire grate. You'd think it would be down here. Okay, onward. Snipe is a beautiful lake. A lot of interesting structure. A lot of interesting arms. I just got back from walking the portage over to let me look at my map. Cross Bay. But it looks like I'm the only one on the whole lake, because I checked the other campsites, like the one we stopped at right there on that point. They're all empty. So I'm going to go down and check the one with the island out front, which I really wanted to stay at, but getting there, it just didn't seem very nice. Onwards we go. This is really cool to segue between two islands. And it's just drop dead gorgeous back here. I think they call this the Narrows on the lake. Yeah. It's just so peaceful. And no mosquitoes. I haven't seen one mosquito yet. All right, I'm going to go out. I'm going to turn around and come back and do this because I want to head over to the far western campsite. Snipe Lake is worth a visit. It's pretty damn cool. Going through the narrows the opposite direction. West to east. It's just stunning. moss. Not that many leaves are turning. I think more of the leaves have turned due to stress from lack of rain than anything. Oh yeah. But the more I paddle this lake, the more I recommend Snipe Lake. It's just really cool. All right, let's go to the other campsite that I first stopped at. It was just nice site, overused, but just had a creepy feeling to it. Oh, I mean, just the structure of rocks around here. The other thing is never been harvested, so it's an old growth lake. Whoop. Gotta watch out for rockies. Always underneath the surface, just ready to get to you. All right, let's go to the other campsite. Well, this is probably the most popular site on the lake because it's got that little island out there in front of it, but it's so exposed. And there's so many big down trees, and I couldn't find a decent place to hang the Una, so I moved on. Pretty island. Well, here's some more footage of the campsite closest to the portage on the west side. Tent pads are way back in the woods. A lot of fallen big trees. A lot of fallen big trees. Not a level spot, you know, for your kitchen area. A lot of people like that little island right by it. Not a great site at all, but hugely popular. All right, there's the island campsite that I'm staying at. And you'll see I've got my pack hung in the tree. I do that twofold. Number one, it keeps chipmunks and stuff out of it so they don't chew, chew, chew. And to let people know the site is occupied. The neat thing about this site is you get both sunsets and sunrises, which is really, really outstanding because it does face south. Nice site. All right, here it is. Wednesday, September 11th. Yep. September 11th. "84 degrees in the shade." When I checked earlier in the sun, it's about 90. Came back from my jaunt this morning, did a little tidying up, made lunch, did a little reading, and fell asleep. Well, now I'm going to pull down the food bag. Let's go pull down the food bag. Show you where I stashed it. I did spend some time readjust the Una. Pulled out my clothing, my sleep gear, which last night I got down to 51 degrees, which isn't bad at all. But September, it's pretty amazing. But it's a nice little campsite. Got plenty of area to get out of the wind, but these tent pads are not very nice. I've yet to see one on this lake, and I've been to all of them, that have flat tent pads. But here, there's the bear bag. Well, let's pull it down and get ready for dinner. All right, prepping for dinner. Kind of did a little bird bath 200 feet away from the water. I feel fresh. I feel fresh. So tonight I'm having for dinner one concoction that I make when I'm up with the guys. And it's called chicken, it's not chicken pate. All right, almost dinner time. You know what? It's September 11th, and it's another day where the sun temperature was 92 degrees, 84 to 86 in the shade. You know what? That was what I had when I was up at Parent Lake. It was 115 in the sun and 84 in the shade. But I had an extremely nice paddle on the lake. Paddled the whole entire lake, looked at the campsites, went down, went to the portage to the next lake, which I'm going to be doing tomorrow. But tonight, I'm prepping something different for dinner. No, it doesn't come from Camp Chow. It's RW Chow. It's called chicken pad thai. So what we have is we have some premium white chicken, no draining. We have some Thai noodles, some soy sauce, some black sesame seeds. This is ground ginger and also ground coconut milk. We have Skippy peanut butter. We've got peanuts for garnishment. This is dehydrated garlic and onion, and I'm rehydrating some mushrooms. So what you do is, first of all, you get the noodles. I think it's about 2 ounces or slightly under boiling. And once the noodles are done, you quickly drain the water, add the chicken, add the soy sauce, add the peanut butter, add the powder mix, which again, ground ginger and ground coconut. Throw in the peanuts, stir it all up. Throw in the shiitake mushrooms that have been rehydrated. And then you mix it all up and you top it off with some sweet pepper sauce. And it's awesome. So we'll show you how it turns out. Again, it's just way too flippin' hot for September. But you know what? It's beautiful. Sure, we have a little bit of condensation in the morning, a little bit of dew. We're starting to see some of the fog in the morning. It's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. I just like a little cooler temperatures. So let's start cooking. Right, I got the noodles going for the chicken pad thai. Then what I do is I add the dehydrated garlic and onion. And what that just does is it gives the noodles a good flavor. Because again, once it's all done, we drain all the water and then add the mixtures to it. Looking good. The noodles, the garlic, and the onion are just about done. So now I'm just going to add in the reconstituted mushrooms, just to make sure they get all done, because otherwise they can become quite chewy if they're not cooked through and they're not rehydrated. All right, and once that's in, the next step then is, of course, to drain and just quickly add in the rest. I'll bring you back for that part. Thanks for joining me for RW Cooking Show in the Boundary Water. Alrighty, we're just about done with the noodles. And again, there's onions, dehydrated garlic in there. You can tell the noodles are done when they're easy to cut on the side with my little titanium fork. Fork? What the hell are you talking about? Spoon. And right before I dump it, I'll flash in the chicken to give it a little bit of a chicken flavor to it. And then it's a panic, because you got to put in the ginger and the coconut milk, the peanut butter, And the peanuts. Well, the peanuts are a garnish. I'll show you. It's coming. Thanks for sticking with me. There it is. It could almost be a chicken soup. But now the chicken's added, the mushrooms are added, the onions and garlic are added, the noodles are added. And now I gotta go back in the woods and dump off the broth and then come back and just flash it with a little bit of heat and add everything else. All right, the water's all drained off. Now comes the fun part. You have the ginger and the coconut milk. You add the peanut butter. Of course, you can't forget the soy sauce. Then you just stir. Stir, stir, stir. You gotta mix in all the peanut butter, all the coconut. And there's the end results. And you garnish with peanuts. Of course you gotta have peanuts. Okay. And black sesame seeds. And finally, a little bit of dragon sauce. And there's your in the woods chicken pate. Chicken pate. Why do I keep saying pate? It's chicken kung pao. Ooh, doggies. The only thing I miss with this is when I'm up with the big guy trip, which happens in 2 weeks, is I bring some spring onion. I put spring onion on the top. But this coupled with, of course, garlic naan bread, it's a feast. So let me feast. So there you have it. RW's cooking show. Boundary water, chicken, pad thai. 20-7. 76 degrees. I've kind of turned my cutoff pants into gaiters because it's so hot. I'm in a t-shirt. Dinner's done. It was delicious. Oh my God, I'm so flippin' full. Dishes are done. And I'm just going to do a little bit of pre-packing because I'm going to boogie out of here tomorrow and head to Cross Bay Lake and figure out where to stay there. And then do one night there, then shoot up to the entry point. Entry, I believe it's 51, where I parked my car. Load up. Drop off the double-bladed kayak paddle. Drop off the boat in Tofi. Then head back to Duluth. But you know what? This lake is really interesting. I think only 2 people in 2 days have gone by looking at this site. And I went around to all the sites today and they were all empty. But just the topography, the dense forest, and the huge trees, the old growth. I mean, I'd recommend this place. I would recommend coming to Snipe Lake. The way I would do it is the way I'm doing it. You come in through Round Lake to Missing Link, from Missing Link over to Snipe. Because that portage, 180 rods, is all downhill. And it's not that easy. And then from here, going into Cross Bay Lake, it's all downhill too. So I'm going downhill, I guess. Ha! Anyway, I'm going to get ready to just get cleaned up. The bear bag's hung. The sun is starting to go down. Yeah. But really fun structure on this lake. Really fun structure. All right, let's get cleaned up. Winding down, looking at the moon. Good morning. About 6:30, 53 degrees, slept like a dead dog. Today is September 12th, 2024. Kind of got dewy, so I got to wait a little bit for some things to dry out and pack it up, and we're moving out. All right, on to coffee. Final sunrise on Snipe Lake. Beautiful morning. Last night it got down to 51 again. It's going to be another scorcher day. Here it is, the 12th of September, 2024. Unbelievable weather. Not a cloud in the sky the whole time. I pretty much got my sleeping system broken down. So I just got to pack up after I have my egg extraordinaire in the Boundary Waters, and then head to Cross Bay Lake, and figure out what I want to do. All right, time to eat. Here's the site. In the water about 9:15, and onward we go. Nice site. Snipe Lake is absolutely beautiful. Interesting formations. It's got a lot of personality. Snipe Lake should definitely be on your list. All right, it's portage time. Wow, the sun's bright. This goes from Snipe into Cross Bay Lake. Let's portage. Well, here's the Cross Bay Lake landing. Interesting, I don't know if you can see it, but there's an actual old crib there. And I'm pointing at, oh, it's an actual old crib right in here. And right there is a nail sticking up about an inch. While you come in with a Kevlar boat and hit that, you're in for a world of hurt. Speaking of which, let's go back and get the boat. This is about halfway between the portage from Snipe to Cross Bay. And this is almost right up. It's a vertical rock garden. And I know this is not going to do the elevation change justice, but I'm glad I'm going down it and not coming up it with a full pack in a canoe. Let's go get the canoe. Well, I'm on this little slough between Snipe Lake and Cross Bay Lake. And this whole area here, and I'll show them to you, is just loaded with pitcher plants. Those are them right there at the end of the paddle. And this water is super low, so I can't get in much closer than that. That's pitcher plants. Really, really cool. 4 large trumpeter swans. Hello. They're usually pretty spooky. That was quiet, came around, and there they were. Beautiful. All right, so I'm heading up. So I'm on Cross Bay Lake, and I'm headed up towards the portage into Ham, which is technically outside the Boundary Waters, and there's a couple sites up there, because both of the sites here on Cross Bay Lake are used. And I don't like going past a site with people and taking videos. So off to the portage and see what we can get at Ham Lake. All right, as I mentioned, all the campsites on Cross Bay Lake were taken, and that lake is not very nice. But here's a thigh buster. So I'm going to go to Ham Lake, and they got a couple campsites there that are actually outside of the boundary waters, and try to snag one of those. So I'm working rather briskly because people are coming in like crazy. As I mentioned, here's the boundary waters. And thank God this is a 24 rod portage, a shortage. Really easy. No issues with footing at all. All right, let's go get the boat. Keep our fingers crossed. Well, I'm on Ham Lake, which is a primitive camping area. We still have fire grates. We still have a pit toilet. But halfway through the last portage into this lake from Cross Bay Lake, you know, I think I showed you the sign. Hey, boundary waters. But you know what? This isn't a bad campsite. You don't need a permit. It's fairly well used. It was clean. I'm just doing some organizing, just chop some wood, gotta go get some more. Sorting gear, filtering water. But I found the neatest place to put the Una down here. Yeah. And there's no rain in the forecast, so I got it in porch mode, which is pretty much wide open. So when I lay in it, I'm going to be able to look at the lake. But right now, it's 88 degrees in the shade on September 12th. You know what? I wasn't prepared for this. I brought in my medium cool stuff. So I'm more than amply warm. But I just don't like the heat. About 2 o'clock when it gets really, really hot, all I do is drink water. Drink water, drink, drink, drink. Sometimes I've been known to take a nap. So that's just a quick update on the campsite. I came across the portage. Let me backtrack a little bit. Coming in from Cross Bay Lake, and I saw the 2 campsites on that lake were full, and that is the Boundary Water Canoe Area Wilderness proper. So I saw people come in and say, are there any sites open on Ham Lake? And they say, yeah. So man, I beat it. And as soon as I got across the portage and landed, I looked across the lake and saw this site, and it's really nice. See, the portage is like right there. Right there. And we'll get some more wood and then maybe even splash some water on me, because it's uncomfortably warm for September. Uncomfortably warm. Well, hey, good afternoon. What time is it? Let me look at my... Yeah, 20 after 4. You know, the more I've been exploring the site, the more I'm liking it. It's got a little more use than it would in the boundary waters, because again, this is just outside the boundary waters. No permit. You get to it by the Cross Bay entry point, and this is Ham Lake. But it's got some interesting features. Let me give you a tour. So I got some chores done. I actually took my little towel, dipped in the water, rinsed myself off, and boy, does that feel good. Oh my gosh. So again, it was in the 90s, in the sun. And the reason why I'm up in northern Minnesota versus where I spend my winters in Arizona, because it's cool. Right. Well, I did some wood gnoming. Hopefully we'll leave some of that behind. things drying. Bottoms to my pants and my water shoes. Water station's over here. This is my packing up area. But let me take you to the living room. I guess that's what I'm going to call this. I have a sunken living room. This is extremely awesome. It's really cool. And I do have the Una set up a little bit high this time. I wanted to do two things. I wanted to be able to sit underneath it because I didn't set up my tarp. But the other thing is I know about this tent is I got a long run on the front, and on the sides they're a relatively long run. So what that means, when I get in it, I'm going to have some stretch. So it's going to come down. But I'm really digging my One Wind gear hammock. My little light. Again, another little nest for my electronics and such. Hey, would you like to see the beach? Let me show you the beach. This site is the farthest east site on Ham Lake on the north shore. It's directly across from the portage. It's got this beautiful, beautiful rock. That goes on and on. Yes, sand beach for the kids. Great for landing. Really a nice landing area. This little rock thing kind of goes on and on and on and on. Hey. And brings you back up. Here's your fire pit. Now normally, in the campsites I like to stay at in the boundary waters, a little bit farther back in, a little bit more difficult to get to, and they have a lot more grass, pine needles, because this, you know, with all the use, it's pretty dirty and dusty. I'm not a fan of that. But I tell you, when there weren't any sites available on the way out, I was grateful to get this one. And to my surprise, I really like it. So, dinner in a little bit, and a fire. And the nice thing, being close enough to my exit point, I don't have to scramble hard in the morning. So let me spend a little bit more time down in my sunken living room. So I'll sign off for now. I really can't tell how good the focus is, but let me go ahead and try to do this. So, we came in and around, and went down, did the portage to Missing Link. Not a bad portage, just all uphill. And then Missing Link, portage down to Snipe. That was a tough one. That was an L8. The bad thing about it is not only did I have to do the portage, but when I get the last load down, I discovered that the map had dropped off. So I walked back about halfway, found the map, walked back. And then we went down, stopped at this campsite, didn't really like it. Came around here, stopped at this one. Yeah, it didn't do anything for me. So we went to the island. Day tripped all around the lake. So today, got up, went around Snipe. This little portage here, pretty easy portage into Cross Bay. Now the campsite that was suggested to me by a fellow YouTuber was this one down here, but it was taken. So then I boogied up here, and then this one was taken. And then I'm like, oh boy, what do I do? So then I boogied up here. I ran into some people, and they say that the sites were available on Ham Lake. So it did the portage into Ham, and I'm right here. So then tomorrow what I'll do is I'll come out of here, all the way up here, and pick up my car. Because when I went in, I dropped my gear, drove the car back, and then walked the mile back to my gear and started the trip. So that's it in a nutshell. All right, the menu tonight. Camp chow, singles, vegan black bean burrito. And then we add to it this pulled pork and barbecue sauce, 3 tortilla shells, and 1 chihuly sauce. 1 chihuly sauce. Alrighty. Let's get it going. There we got it. There's 3 soft tortilla shells stacked up there. There's the first one. Of course, a little dab of chihuly sauce. And there's the rest in the pot. So I'm going to eat and enjoy the sunset. All right, part 1 winding down. Dinner's done. Dishes are clean. Boy, that's a proud couple piles of wood. But just kind of debriefing in my head, I really enjoyed this trip. You know, the campsites were great. It's come a little bit of a concerning trying to get this one, but we made it work. And it turned out excellent. If I had one negative about the trip, is it's, you know, early September, you know, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, and we're still high 80s. And a couple times I checked in the sun, it was 92 degrees. That's not what I signed up for. I like a little bit cooler. But on a positive note, absolutely no bugs. So the campsite is pretty clean. Ready to send my inReach, my nightly check-in. And the sun is going down. I'm ready for a fire. Care to join me? New one for me, filming with a headlamp on. But I'm winding it up and winding it down. Mostly winding it down. So with that, I'm going to bid you adieu, and tomorrow's going to be the exit day. So please join me. Good morning. Just after 6 a.m., it got down to 57 degrees, which is absolutely crazy. I got some water on for a boil, but it's foggy. Got water on for coffee. Slept really well. Again, too warm. It's too warm. Well, I'm back in 2 weeks to go to up Little Indian Sioux. Entry point, I believe, 14. Looking forward to seeing the Devil's Cascade. But anyway, Friday the 13th. Foggy morning. Coffee on. Let's go get some. 8:30. I've been packed up for a while. Been waiting for the marine moisture to burn off, which it has, the fog. And now it's boogie. We got 2 lakes and 2 portages to get back to my vehicle. Yep, the only thing I don't like about this campsite is used a lot. It's in good shape, but it's just dirty and dusty. Scope everything else out. All right, let's boogie. All right, little pinch here at Ham Lake. This is actually quite a beautiful lake. I see some great big glacial erratics in the middle up there, a little island here. But very pleasant morning paddle out of Ham Lake. More really cool structure. It kind of looks like a bear almost. Really beautiful lake. It's a campsite right there. But I gotta go through this interesting little cut to get to the back half of the lake and then find the portage onto the next lake. But this is really beautiful. And you know what? No one is in any of the other campsites. Wow. Hey, coming up on a shortage here. I think it's about 20 rods. So let's go. All right, at the end of the portage, from Ham Lake into just a little teeny tiny lake, probably another piece of ham. But it wouldn't be a boundary water trip without a rock garden portage landing. I got the boat up on the ledge. I got to drag it, not drag it, I got to carry it down here, figure out where I'm going to put in. Because as I've talked about before, you have rocks and it looks like it drops off fairly deep. So I got to probably put it in right about there. And it's starting to heat up already. But that's what we call a rock garden. All right, let's grab the boat. Yeah. It's the final portage. Yeah. Isn't this fun? 66 rods. Then to the landing. Off we go. Oh, another lovely landing at the end of the final portage. All right. I'm going to put it in right there and go out there to the landing. Landing is right there. Great. It's nice to have a dock after going through the 2 rock gardens I just went through. Great trip. Really, really enjoyed it. Snipe Lake is beautiful. And surprisingly, Ham Lake was beautiful too. West Cross Bay Lake, kind of swampy. But if I had one complaint, it was too darn hot midday for a September, canoe trip. It was in the 90s. It cooled off nicely, but man, it's just, when it gets 90 plus, I don't want to be out in the water. It's all right. Let's get in and pack it up. Great trip.